Hey there, sports fans. How are we doing? I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to 10 Yards Back with this, my prediction video for round 3 of the Betfred Super League. So in these prediction videos, I'm going to highlight my top game of each day of the weekend and give you my thoughts, musings, ideas on how I think the team should be selected, how I think they're going to play, and ultimately what I think the score is going to be. So let's go to Vegas. Now, Saturday night's pick of the week. I mean, Saturday's full of them. We've got Warrington, Wakefield, Saints, Catalans. But I think that the Vegas game against Hull KR and Leeds is going to take the day. Now, it's hard to figure out when this game's actually going to start. I think it's starting at midnight. I think it's 4 o'clock Vegas time. Because if it was 4 o'clock our time, that would be like 8 a.m. kickoff in Vegas, and I can't see that being the case. When this fixture was announced last year, Hull KR had won nothing. Leeds were kind of still a little bit down in the dumps. You know, the Brad Arthur effect hadn't quite kicked in yet. So when this was announced last year, I just thought, okay, who cares? Who cares about this? It's actually become one of the matchups of the year. You know, we're gonna queue up to watch this one this time round, and we're gonna queue up to watch it again when it returns to Headingley. Hull KR versus Leeds is an immense matchup, and as a Saints fan, I'm glad that the semi-final was Saints versus Hull KR because it got Saints a little bit further down the line. But I think a semi Hull KR Leeds would have been fantastic. So let's have a look at how they're performing this year. Bear in mind here when you look at these stats that Hull KR only have one league game under their belt, and it was a loss. So these stats might be a little bit misleading. Nevertheless, meters, tackles, all about the same. Leeds are conceding about the same, scoring way more than the Robins. Robins are sat at the bottom of the table, but like I said, they have no points right now. They haven't won any games. They've only played one of them. So let's see how we get on. So if we look at the teams now, I don't think much has been said on squad selection or anything like that. Both teams are kind of keeping it under their belt a little bit, except that in an unprecedented, real ballsy move, Leeds released their squad last Thursday, I believe, or maybe last Saturday, but right after the World Club Challenge, Leeds just put that marker down and said, this is who we're taking, come and get us. And I love that. I love Leeds, who's like a bit of an old man, isn't it, really, Leeds? The Leeds Rhinos is just like, yep, they'll always be there, they always have been there, and they're just a part of the furniture. For them to start doing these ballsy tricks of calling people out, essentially, I do quite like that. Now, Hull KR, they lost Artur Morg last week. I think that is a massive, massive loss. KR are a bit of a factory at the minute, aren't they? They've discovered Mikey Lewis. They've discovered Jez Litton. Minchella has kind of just come to prominence over there. You got Tyrone May. No one really knew who that was over here before he started playing in that KR system. Artur Morg was a bit of something over in Catalans, but since coming to KR, he's really, really cemented himself as one of the fullbacks at the league. If not, maybe like the best. No, one of. I'm gonna stick to one of. Right. Jack Broadbent, however, in my opinion, is one of those guys who's just simply unlucky that Artur Morg was in the team. I would put him at fullback any day of the week. I think he's a really good player. He's got real good rugby league IQ. He's always where he needs to be. Always there, ready to pick up a ball, ready to drop it off to the right person. So Jack Broadbent is not. It's not a nothing substitute, but it's definitely not Morg, right? Leeds have Lucky Miller. Leeds have Mika Sivo, who we saw last week. Leeds have Hanley and Hall and Croft and bloody Jake Connor. Forget the forwards in this game. I think we can just, all right, they've both got a pack. You know what? Let's just have bloody let's give Leeds Saints pack and let's give Hull KR Wigan's pack, and we'll just just rule that out. Just absolutely shuffle those decks, because this game is going to be an aerial adventure where Jake Connors, I reckon the ball spends about 3 minutes in the air of total hang time over this game, because Jake Connor can leave those kicks floating in the air while the defense gets down. Mikey Lewis has absolute pinpoint accuracy with his kicks. Now, the reason why this is such a good matchup is because Miller and Sivo and Hall are almost the kryptonite for the Hull KR tactic of kick them to the corner, keep them there, batter them, because they can chew up meters for fun, right? Lucky Miller, I think last year was averaging like 200 meters a game or something like that. Maybe that's an incredible amount, but so it's going to be fast. It's going to be kicks. The Australians are going to hate it because apparently Australians don't like kicks, but it's going to be a real good spectacle for a Super League fan. I've got Hull KR taking this one pretty comfortably. Last week against the Broncos, they just had so many options. I was amazed at the amount of last tackle options they had there last week. I just think that's gonna overwhelm Leeds. It's gonna short circuit them, and quite frankly, I just don't think they've got the tools to overcome that once KR get in the game. Now, something that the Robins did last week, and this is why I think Leeds are going to score about 20, maybe 30 points, is that they were overcommitting to every tackle and they knackered themselves out, and that is why the Broncos got back in the game. So if they can control that, and if they can avoid exhausting themselves, tracking back for those balls that Connor's firing back there, they can do really well in this game.